The grand chamber of the Galactic Council buzzed with excitement. Beings from 1,000 worlds filled the room, their diverse forms a testament to the vastness of the universe. At the center, on a raised platform, sat the High Council, the most powerful entities in the known galaxy. High Counselor Zixtal, a tall, slender alien with shimmering blue skin, raised a hand for silence. The room quieted immediately. Esteemed colleagues, Zixtal's voice boomed. Today we discuss a matter of minor importance. A ripple of laughter spread through the chamber. The species known as humans have petitioned, yet again, for membership in our esteemed Galactic Council. On a large holographic display, an image of Earth appeared, spinning slowly. Several council members leaned forward, curiosity evident in their alien features. Counselor Vexna, a reptilian being with scales that changed color with her mood, spoke up. High Counselor, why do we even entertain this notion? These humans are barely out of their Stone Age. More laughter echoed through the chamber. Zixtal's mouth curved in what passed for a smile among his species. Indeed, Counselor Vexna. But let us hear their case. It should prove amusing. A small, nervous-looking human stepped forward. Ambassador John Chen, Earth's representative, cleared his throat. Esteemed members of the Galactic Council, he began, his voice shaky but determined, Earth respectfully requests consideration for membership. We believe we have much to offer the galactic community. Before Chen could continue, Counselor Kraz, a bulky creature with 4 arms and a booming voice, interrupted. Oh, and what exactly do you have to offer? Your quaint fossil fuel vehicles. Your primitive projectile weapons. Chen's face reddened, but he pressed on. We have made significant advancements in various fields. Our scientists are on the brink of several breakthroughs that could benefit. Breakthroughs? Vexna cut in, her scales turning a mocking shade of orange. Let me guess. You've discovered how to split the atom. How charming. The chamber erupted in laughter once more. Chen looked around, his expression a mixture of frustration and embarrassment. High Counselor Zixtal raised a hand, quieting the room. Ambassador Chen, while we appreciate your enthusiasm, the facts remain. Your species has barely managed interplanetary travel. Your technology is centuries, if not millennia, behind the galactic standard. And your military. Zixtal paused for effect. Well, let's just say it's hardly worth mentioning. On the holographic display, images of Earth's military forces flashed by. To the advanced aliens, the tanks, jets, and ships looked like children's toys. But we are learning quickly, Chen protested. Given the chance, we cooled. Counselor Kraz waved a dismissive hand. Learn? By the time you learn to keep up, young species will have colonized another galaxy. The laughter that followed was deafening. Chen stood there, his face burning with humiliation. High Counselor Zixtal leaned forward, his voice dripping with false sympathy. Ambassador, surely you see the humor in your request. Your species is young, barely out of its cradle. Perhaps in a few centuries, we might reconsider. For now, we suggest you focus on not destroying your own planet. That seems challenge enough for humanity, doesn't it? As Chen opened his mouth to respond, Zixtal continued, This council has made its decision. The human petition for membership is denied. We will revisit this matter in, shall we say, 500 years. The council members nodded in agreement, some still chuckling. Chen, defeated, bowed stiffly and retreated from the chamber. As the doors closed behind him, Chen's shoulders slumped. He had failed. Earth would remain isolated, seen as a backwater planet by the galactic community. Little did the Galactic Council know, their mockery was about to backfire spectacularly. For back on Earth, hidden from prying alien eyes, humanity had been preparing. The humiliation faced by Chen would be the catalyst for revealing a truth that would shake the very foundations of the galaxy. In a secret facility deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, a team of Earth's finest engineers and scientists were putting the finishing touches on a vessel that would change everything. The U.S. Nemesis was about to make its debut, and the arrogant Galactic Council would never know what hit them. The news of Ambassador Chen's humiliation spread across Earth like wildfire. In the halls of power in Washington, D.C., military leaders gathered for an emergency meeting. Their faces were grim, their jaws set in determination. General Sarah Chen, Chief of Staff of the United States Space Force, and John Chen's sister, stood at the head of the table. Her eyes blazed with a mix of anger and resolve. "Ladies and gentlemen," she said, her voice steady but filled with steel, "today, the Galactic Council laughed at us. Tomorrow, they'll learn why that was a mistake." The room erupted in murmurs of agreement. Admiral James Rodriguez, a veteran of countless space skirmishes, spoke up. "It's time we unveil Operation Thunderbolt," he said. The others nodded, knowing smiles spreading across their faces. General Chen pressed a button on the table. A holographic display flickered to life, showing a massive spaceship unlike anything seen before. "Allow me to introduce the U.S. Nemesis," she said, pride evident in her voice. The ship was a marvel of human engineering and alien tech reverse-engineered from crashed UFOs. Its hull was sleek and dark, absorbing light rather than reflecting it. Weapon ports dotted its surface, hinting at the firepower hidden within. "The Nemesis is our answer to the Council's arrogance," Chen continued. "It's faster, stronger, and more advanced than anything they've ever seen, and they have no idea it exists." The hologram zoomed in, showing the ship's interior. "We've equipped it with a quantum fold drive," said Dr. Aisha Patel, the lead scientist on the project. "It can cross the galaxy in days, not years. Our cloaking technology is leagues beyond what the Council possesses." The military leaders leaned in, fascinated. Dr. Patel continued, "The weapons systems are, well, let's just say they're going to regret underestimating us." General Chen nodded. "We've been preparing for this day for years. Every insult, every diplomatic snub, every trade deal that favored them. We remembered it all. And we worked in secret, pushing the boundaries of science and technology." The room fell silent as the weight of the moment settled on them. They were about to change the course of human history. "Who will crew this marvel?" asked Colonel Wizon, his eyes still fixed on the hologram. Chen smiled. "Only the best. Captain Emily Sato will command the Nemesis. Her record is impeccable, and she's shown a knack for outmaneuvering alien tactics." A hologram shifted, showing a woman in her late 30s with short black hair and determined eyes. "Sato's been training her crew in secret for months," Chen added. "They're ready." Admiral Rodriguez stood up, his face solemn. "This mission carries enormous risk," he said. "If we fail, Earth will be vulnerable. But if we succeed, Chen finished, "we'll show the galaxy that humanity is not to be trifled with." The next few hours were a flurry of activity. Orders were given, final checks were made. In a hidden base beneath the Pacific Ocean, Captain Sato and her crew boarded the U.S. Nemesis. As the massive hangar doors opened, revealing the dark ocean above, Sato sat in the captain's chair. She looked at her crew, humans of all races and backgrounds, united in their mission. "Ladies and gentlemen," she said, her voice calm but filled with purpose, "today we carry the hopes of humanity with us. Let's show the Council what we're made of." The Nemesis rose from the ocean, water cascading off its hull. As it breached the surface, its cloaking device activated, rendering it invisible to both human and alien eyes. On the bridge, Sato gave the order, "Engage quantum fold drive. Set course for the Galactic Council's home system." The ship's engines hummed to life. In a flash of light that only they could see, the Nemesis vanished from Earth's orbit, hurtling across the stars. As they traveled faster than any human had before, Sato allowed herself a small smile. The Council thought humans were primitive, laughable. They were about to learn how wrong they were. The U.S. Nemesis streaked across the galaxy, carrying with it humanity's pride, technology, and determination. The Galactic Council's mockery had lit a fire. Now that fire was racing toward them, about to explode into a blaze that would reshape the galaxy forever. The U.S. Nemesis sliced through the fabric of space, its quantum fold drive humming with power. Inside the massive ship, Captain Emily Sato stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the swirling colors of hyperspace outside the view screen. "Status report," she ordered, her voice calm but filled with authority. Lieutenant Commander Raj Patel, her second-in-command, looked up from his console. "All systems are running at peak efficiency, Captain. The quantum fold drive is performing beyond expectations. At this rate, we'll reach the edge of Council space in 72 hours. Sato nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. Just a few years ago, such a journey would have taken decades. Now they were crossing the galaxy in days. Human ingenuity, combined with reverse-engineered alien tech, had created a marvel. As the ship continued its journey, the crew settled into their routines. In the engine room, Chief Engineer Maria Rodriguez ran diagnostics on the advanced propulsion systems. Her team worked tirelessly, ensuring every component of the ship was running perfectly. "I still can't believe how smooth this drive is running," one of her engineers said, shaking his head in wonder. Maria grinned. "That's human engineering for you. We may be new to the galactic stage, but we learn fast." In the ship's massive hangar bay, Squadron Leader Jamal Williams inspected the sleek fighter crafts nestled within. These weren't ordinary fighters. They were equipped with the same cloaking technology as the Nemesis, capable of appearing and disappearing at will. "All right, pilots," he addressed his team. "We may be heading into hostile territory. I want everyone ready for action at a moment's notice. The Council thinks we're pushovers. Let's show them how wrong they are." As the journey continued, the crew's excitement mixed with tension. They were venturing into unknown territory, carrying the hopes and dreams of humanity with them. In her quarters, Captain Sato reviewed the mission briefing one more time. The plan was to approach a minor Council outpost, reveal their presence, and demonstrate their technological superiority. It was a show of force designed to make the Council reconsider their dismissive attitude towards humans. A chime at her door interrupted her thoughts. "Enter," she called out. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the ship's chief science officer, walked in. "Captain, I've been analyzing the data we have on Council technology. I think you'll find this interesting." She handed Sato a data pad. As the captain scrolled through the information, her eyebrows rose. "Are you sure about this?" she asked. Tanaka nodded. "Positive. Their shields operate on a frequency we can easily penetrate, and their weapons, while powerful, are predictable. With our advanced eye-targeting systems, we should be able to outmaneuver them easily." Sato leaned back in her chair, processing this information. "This could change our approach," she mused. "Good work, Doctor. Please share this with Tactical." As Tanaka left, Sato turned to look out her window at the streaking stars. The enormity of their mission weighed on her. They carried humanity's future on their shoulders. Hours passed, and the Nemesis continued its relentless journey. The crew trained, prepared, and waited. In the mess hall, off-duty personnel swapped stories and theories about what they might encounter. "I heard the Council has ships the size of moons," one crewman said. His companion scoffed. "Yeah, and I bet they're about as maneuverable as moons too. Our girl here will run circles around them." Their banter was interrupted by a ship-wide announcement. "All hands, this is the captain speaking. We are approaching the edge of Council space. All personnel, report to battle stations. This is not a drill." A flurry of activity erupted throughout the ship. Crew members rushed to their posts, hearts pounding with a mix of fear and excitement. On the bridge, Captain Sato stood tall, her eyes fixed on the view screen as the swirling colors of hyperspace began to fade. "Prepare to disengage quantum fold drive," she ordered. "Activate cloaking device." The U.S. Nemesis slipped back into normal space, invisible to all sensors. Before them lay the vast expanse of the Galactic Council's territory. The ship that Earth had pinned its hopes on had arrived, ready to change the course of galactic history. As they cruised towards their first target, Captain Sato allowed herself a small, determined smile. "Let's introduce ourselves to the neighborhood," she said quietly. The Nemesis moved forward, silent and unseen, carrying with it the future of humanity and the promise of a new era in the galaxy. The U.S. Nemesis glided silently through the star-studded expanse of Council space, its advanced cloaking technology rendering it invisible to both eyes and sensors. On the bridge, Captain Emily Sato and her crew watched with bated breath as they approached a bustling Council outpost. "Tactical report," Sato ordered, her voice steady despite the tension in the air. Lieutenant Sarah Chen, the tactical officer, responded promptly. "Captain, I'm detecting a patrol fleet of 5 Council ships. Their technology matches our intel. They seem relaxed. No sign they've detected us." Sato nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. "Perfect. Let's give them a wake-up call. Helm, bring us within visual range, but keep the cloak active." As the Nemesis drew closer, the crew could see the Council ships clearly on the main view screen. They were sleek, colorful vessels that looked more like works of art than warships. Their casual formation spoke volumes about how safe they felt in their own territory. "They really don't expect any threats out here, do they?" Commander Raj Patel mused, shaking his head. "That's about to change," Sato replied. She took a deep breath, squaring her shoulders. "All right, let's introduce ourselves. Comms, prepare to broadcast on all frequencies. Tactical, be ready to drop the cloak and raise shields on my mark." The bridge crew tensed, ready for action. This was the moment they had trained for, the reason they had journeyed across the galaxy. "This is it, people," Sato addressed her crew. "Remember, we're not here to start a war. We're here to prevent one by showing them we're not to be trifled with. Let's make Earth proud." With a nod from Sato, the communications officer opened a channel. "Broadcasting now, Captain." Sato's voice rang out, not just on the Nemesis, but across every Council ship in the vicinity. "Attention, Council vessels. This is Captain Emily Sato of the Earth ship U.S. Nemesis. We come in peace, but we will not be ignored or disrespected." On the Council ships, confusion reigned. Alien crew members looked around, baffled by the voice coming from seemingly nowhere. Sato continued, "Your Galactic Council has dismissed humanity as primitive and weak. We're here to correct that misconception. Observe." She nodded to her tactical officer. "Drop cloak. Raise shields." In an instant, the massive form of the U.S. Nemesis materialized out of thin air, dwarfing the Council patrol ships. Its dark hull seemed to absorb the starlight around it, and the glow of its powerful engines cast an intimidating light on the suddenly small-looking Council vessels. On the Council ships, chaos erupted. Alarms blared, crew members scrambled to battle stations, and captains shouted frantic orders. "By the cosmic void," one Council captain exclaimed. "Where did that behemoth come from?" The lead Council ship, its captain somewhat regaining composure, opened a channel to the Nemesis. A hologram of a reptilian alien appeared on the Nemesis bridge. "Unidentified vessel." The alien spoke, its voice a mix of fear and attempted authority. "You are in restricted Council space. Identify yourself and prepare to be boarded." Sato couldn't help but smile at the alien's bravado. "I believe I already did, Captain. We are the U.S. Nemesis from Earth, and as for being boarded," she nodded to her tactical officer. In a dazzling display of technology, the Nemesis unleashed a series of non-lethal but impressive weapons. Electromagnetic pulses disabled the Council ship's primary systems without causing permanent damage. Pinpoint energy beams sliced through their shields like they weren't even there. Within moments, the entire Council patrol fleet was dead in space, their engines offline, and weapons systems fried. "Now then," Sato addressed the stunned Council captain, whose hologram still flickered on the bridge. "I believe we have your attention. We'd like to discuss humanity's place in the galaxy. I suggest you contact your superiors. Let them know that the era of dismissing Earth is over. As the Council ships floated helplessly, their crews working frantically to restore power, the U.S. Nemesis stood tall and proud. In a single encounter, they had shattered the Council's perception of humanity. On the bridge of the Nemesis, the crew exchanged excited glances. They had done it. They had announced humanity's arrival on the galactic stage in a way that could not be ignored. Captain Sato allowed herself a moment of satisfaction before turning to her communications officer. Send a message to Earth. Tell them Phase 1 is complete. The real work begins now. As the message was sent, the Nemesis prepared for its next move. The galaxy was about to change, and humanity was leading that change. The news of the U.S. Nemesis appearance and its easy defeat of a Council patrol fleet spread through the galaxy like wildfire. In the grand halls of the Galactic Council's central planet, Zor Prime, chaos reigned. Council members from 100 different species argued loudly, their voices echoing off the ornate walls. Some were angry, others frightened, and a few were secretly impressed. High Counselor Xathkrol, a towering insectoid being, slammed his chitinous claw on the table. Silence, he shouted, his multifaceted eyes flashing with annoyance. The room gradually quieted. We have underestimated these humans. Xathkrol continued, his antennae twitching nervously. Their technology, their audacity. It's beyond anything we expected. Counselor Lyra, a graceful avian creature, spread her wings in agitation. But how? We monitored their planet for years. They were barely able to reach their own moon. An elderly reptilian, Counselor Salik, hissed softly. It seems, my friends, that we have been deceived. The humans have hidden their true capabilities from us. As the counselors debated, a holographic display in the center of the room showed the U.S. Nemesis. Its dark, sleek form rotated slowly, dwarfing the council ships around it. Look at the size of that thing, one counselor muttered. It's bigger than our largest cruiser. Xathkrol chittered thoughtfully. Size is not everything. But their technology, that cloaking device alone, is centuries ahead of our own research. The Council's military advisor, General Kroll, a bulky creature with thick, armored skin, stepped forward. High Counselor, we must respond with force. If we allow this insult to stand, other species might get ideas. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. Xathkrol raised a claw for silence. And what if we fail, General? What if these humans defeat our fleet as easily as they disabled our patrol? The room fell silent as the weight of that possibility sank in. Counselor Lyra spoke up, her voice soft but firm. Perhaps we should consider diplomacy. If the humans are this advanced, they could be valuable allies. Angry shouts erupted from several counselors. Allies? They invaded our space. They humiliated us. As the argument raged on, a junior aide rushed into the chamber, looking flustered. He whispered urgently to Xathkrol, whose exoskeleton paled visibly. Silence, all of you. Xathkrol's voice boomed. We've just received word. The human ship, this Nemesis, has been spotted near the Arcturus Gateway. They're deep in our territory now. Gasps and cries of alarm filled the room. The Arcturus Gateway was a vital trade hub, connecting multiple sectors of Council space. General Kroll growled, we must strike now. Gather every ship we have. We'll crush this human vessel and teach their species a lesson they won't forget. But Counselor Salik was shaking his head. No, General. If we fail, we risk losing everything. The humans have shown they can easily defeat our ships. We need a different approach. High Counselor Xathkrol nodded slowly. Agreed. We cannot risk open warfare, not when we know so little about their capabilities. He turned to the holographic display, staring at the imposing form of the Nemesis. We need more information. We need a plan. As the council debated, the aide approached again, this time with a communication device. High Counselor, "We're receiving a transmission from the human ship." The room fell silent once more. Seth Krull took a deep breath, his antennae quivering. "Put it through." The holographic display shifted, and suddenly the image of Captain Emily Sato filled the chamber. Her calm, determined face looked out at the assembled aliens. "Greetings, Galactic Council." Sato's voice rang out, clear and confident. "I trust we have your attention now. We're ready to talk about humanity's place in the galaxy. But know this, we come as equals, not as supplicants. The choice is yours. Peaceful coexistence or, well, you've seen what we're capable of." As Sato's transmission ended, the council chamber erupted into frenzied discussion. The fate of the galaxy hung in the balance, and the decisions made in this room would shape the future for countless species. High Counselor Seth Krull looked around at his fellow counselors, seeing fear, anger, and uncertainty in their eyes. He knew that whatever they decided next would change everything. The age of dismissing humanity was over. A new era had begun, whether the Council liked it or not. The vastness of space near the Arcturus Gateway was suddenly alive with activity. A massive fleet of Galactic Council ships had gathered, their sleek forms glittering in the light of nearby stars. At the center of this armada was the flagship of Admiral Zexthor, a seasoned veteran known for his tactical brilliance. Zexthor, a tall, blue-skinned alien with 4 arms, stood on the bridge of his ship, his eyes fixed on the holographic display before him. "Status report," he barked. His second-in-command, a reptilian named Shith, responded promptly. "Admiral, we have over 200 ships assembled. All are armed and ready for battle." Zexthor nodded, his face grim. "And the human ship?" "Still holding position near the gateway, sir. They haven't moved since our arrival." The Admiral's eyes narrowed. The humans' lack of reaction was unsettling. Were they that confident, or was it a bluff? Suddenly, alarms blared across the fleet. "Admiral," Sith shouted, "the human ship, it's gone." Zexthor spun around. "What do you mean, gone? Did they flee?" Before Sith could answer, a massive shape materialized right in the middle of the Council fleet. The U.S. Nemesis had suddenly appeared, its dark hull seeming to absorb the light around it. "By the cosmic void," Zexthor whispered, his 4 hands clenching involuntarily. On board the Nemesis, Captain Emily Sato stood calmly, surveying the Council fleet surrounding them. "Status report," she ordered. Lieutenant Chen responded. "All systems operational, Captain. Shields at maximum. Weapons hot." Sato nodded. "Open a channel to the Council flagship." Admiral Zexthor's face appeared on the view screen, his alien features a mix of anger and awe. "Human vessel," he began, his voice tight with controlled fury. "You are outnumbered and surrounded. Surrender now or face annihilation." Sato allowed herself a small smile. "Admiral, I think we both know that's not going to happen. We've given you ample opportunity to negotiate. Now let me show you why that would have been the wiser choice." With a nod to her tactical officer, Sato gave the order, "Execute Operation Thunderbolt." In an instant, the space around the Nemesis erupted into chaos. Dozens of smaller ships suddenly decloaked, appearing out of nowhere. These were the advanced fighter craft hidden within the Nemesis, now swarming out to engage the Council fleet. Admiral Zexthor watched in horror as his carefully arranged formation fell into disarray. The human fighters were impossibly fast, their weapons slicing through Council shields like they weren't even there. "Return fire," Zexthor roared, but it was too late. The Nemesis itself had sprung into action, its advanced weapon systems targeting key ships in the Council fleet with surgical precision. Explosions bloomed across space as Council ships fell one by one. Zexthor's flagship rocked violently as a blast from the Nemesis grazed its hull. "Shields down to 30%. Sith reported, panic evident in his voice. "Admiral, we can't withstand another hit like that." On the Nemesis, Sato watched the battle unfold with a mixture of satisfaction and regret. They had tried to avoid this, but the Council's arrogance had left them no choice. "Captain," Lieutenant Chen called out, "the Council flagship is hailing us." Sato nodded. On screen, Admiral Zexthor's face appeared once more, this time etched with defeat. "Enough," he said, his voice heavy. We surrender." A hush fell over the Nemesis bridge. They had done it. Humanity had proven itself on the galactic stage. Sato leaned forward, her voice firm but not unkind. "Admiral, we accept your surrender. Please recall all your remaining ships. It's time we had that talk about humanity's place in the galaxy." As the battle subsided, the remnants of the once mighty Council fleet limped into formation around their battered flagship. The Nemesis stood tall amidst the debris, a testament to human ingenuity and determination. Captain Sato turned to her crew, pride shining in her eyes. "Well done, everyone. Send a message to Earth. Tell them the galaxy now knows that humanity is not to be underestimated." As the message was sent, Sato gazed out at the stars. The battle was over, but the real challenge was just beginning. How would humanity shape its new role in the galactic community? Only time would tell. The U.S. Nemesis had shattered the Council's arrogance, and in doing so, had ushered in a new era for Earth and the entire galaxy. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council on Zor Prime buzzed with nervous energy. Representatives from hundreds of alien species filled the room, their eyes fixed on the central podium. For the first time in the Council's long history, a human stood there. Captain Emily Sato, now Admiral Sato, gazed out at the sea of alien faces. Her crisp uniform bore new medals, testament to her role in reshaping the galaxy's power structure. Beside her stood High Counselor Xathkrul, his insectoid features unreadable. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Council," Xathkrul began, his voice echoing through the chamber. "We are gathered here today to formally welcome humanity into our ranks." A murmur rippled through the crowd. Some faces showed excitement, others apprehension, and a few barely concealed resentment. Xathkrul continued, "Recent events have shown us that our previous assessment of Earth was flawed. Humanity has proven itself to be not just our equal, but in many ways, our superior." Admiral Sato stepped forward, her voice clear and confident. "Thank you, High Counselor. Members of the Council, I stand before you not as a conqueror, but as a partner. Earth seeks not to dominate, but to cooperate." She paused, letting her words sink in. "We hid our true capabilities not out of deceit, but out of caution. The universe is vast and often hostile. We needed to be sure we could protect ourselves." In the audience, Counselor Lyra, the avian alien who had once advocated for diplomacy, nodded approvingly. Beside her, General Kroll, the military advisor who had pushed for war, shifted uncomfortably. Sato continued, "But now we offer our technology, our knowledge, and our friendship to all peaceful species. Together, we can explore the universe, solve its mysteries, and face its dangers." As she spoke, holographic displays around the chamber lit up, showcasing Earth's achievements. Images of gleaming cities, advanced spacecraft, and groundbreaking scientific discoveries flashed before the awestruck council members. "Impossible," one alien whispered. "They've achieved in decades what took us centuries." Xathkrul raised a claw for silence. "Admiral Sato speaks truth. The human ship Nemesis alone has technology that outstrips our most advanced vessels. But more than that, they have shown wisdom in victory. They could have conquered us. Instead, they offer partnership." Sato nodded gratefully to Xathkrul. "We propose a restructuring of the Council. No longer will one or two species dominate. Each member will have an equal voice. Earth will share its advancements, but we also look forward to learning from all of you." The chamber erupted in excited chatter. The idea of access to human technology was enticing to many. Others saw the opportunity for a more fair and balanced galactic government. Not everyone was pleased, however. General Kroll stood up, his armored bulk imposing. "And if we refuse, will you force us to comply with your mighty ships?" A tense silence fell over the room. All eyes turned to Sato. The Admiral met Kroll's gaze steadily. "No, General. Force is not our way. Any species that wishes to remain apart may do so, but they will miss out on the benefits of cooperation. The choice is yours." Her measured response seemed to deflate Kroll, who sank back into his seat. As the session continued, more and more council members voiced their support for the new order. Plans were made for cultural exchanges, joint scientific ventures, and a unified peacekeeping force. Hours later, as the historic meeting concluded, Admiral Sato stood on a balcony overlooking the sprawling alien city. Zath Kroll joined her, his multifaceted eyes reflecting the setting sun. "You have changed everything, Admiral," he said softly. Sato smiled. "We all have, Counselor. This is just the beginning." As night fell on Zor Prime, news of the day's events spread across the galaxy. On countless worlds, beings of all shapes and sizes looked up at the stars with new wonder and hope. Back on Earth, celebrations erupted as the message from Admiral Sato arrived. Humanity had not just found its place among the stars, it had reshaped the very nature of galactic civilization. The future stretched out before them, vast and full of possibilities. The era of humanity's isolation was over. A new age of exploration, cooperation, and discovery had begun. And it all started because a council had mocked a species they didn't understand, only to have their arrogance shattered by a single remarkable ship.